Africa is demanding its gold back. For decades, many African nations have stored their gold reserves overseas, primarily in London and New York. Now, a growing number of African countries are repatriating their gold, bringing it back to their own shores. This trend signifies a shift towards greater financial independence and a desire for greater control over their economic destiny. From Ghana to South Africa, Tanzania to Mali, the repatriation of gold is becoming a powerful symbol of Africa's growing economic and political assertiveness. It's a modern-day gold rush, but this time, it's not about prospectors and pickaxes. It's about nations reclaiming what is rightfully theirs, seeking to leverage their resources for their own development. For many of these countries, gold represents more than just a precious metal. It embodies their history, their heritage, and their aspirations for a more prosperous future. This movement is not without its challenges, but the potential benefits for African economies are immense. The repatriation of gold is a complex issue with far-reaching implications. It touches upon themes of sovereignty, economic stability, and the evolving dynamics of global power. As more African countries seek to repatriate their gold, it raises important questions about the future of the US dollar as the world's reserve currency and the potential for a more multipolar world order. The decisions made by these African nations will have a ripple effect across the global financial system, signaling a potential shift in the balance of economic power. African nations are choosing to repatriate their gold for a number of compelling reasons. First and foremost is the issue of sovereignty. Holding gold reserves on their own soil gives these countries greater control over their assets and reduces their dependence on foreign powers. It's a statement of self-determination, a declaration that they are no longer content to be beholden to the whims of Western financial institutions. Another key factor is economic stability. Gold is a safe haven asset, historically viewed as a hedge against inflation and economic uncertainty. By holding more gold, African countries can diversify their reserves, reduce their exposure to volatile currencies, and strengthen their financial resilience in the face of global economic shocks. This is particularly important in a world grappling with rising inflation, geopolitical tensions, and the lingering effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. The repatriation of gold also allows African countries to leverage their resources for development. Holding gold domestically can bolster their creditworthiness, making it easier to secure loans and attract foreign investment. It can also provide a source of collateral for domestic lending, stimulating economic growth and job creation. By taking control of their gold, African nations are taking control of their own economic destiny. Sovereignty, in its simplest terms, is the right of a nation to govern itself without external interference. For many African countries, repatriating their gold is a powerful assertion of their sovereignty, a way to break free from the legacy of colonialism and assert their rightful place on the world stage. It's a declaration that they are no longer content to be passive players in a global system that has often marginalized their interests. Economic stability is paramount for any nation, but it is especially crucial for developing countries striving to improve the lives of their citizens. Gold, with its historical stability and intrinsic value, provides a bedrock of financial security. By holding substantial gold reserves, African countries can insulate themselves from currency fluctuations, economic downturns, and the vagaries of global markets. This stability is essential for attracting foreign investment, promoting economic growth, and building a more prosperous future. The repatriation of gold represents a bold step towards greater economic self-reliance. It's a recognition that true independence requires not only political freedom, but also financial autonomy. By controlling their own resources, African nations can chart their own course, set their own priorities, and build a future free from the constraints of external dependence. The repatriation of gold has the potential to significantly impact African economies, both on a national and continental level. By holding more gold reserves, countries can strengthen their financial positions, reduce their reliance on foreign debt, and create more opportunities for domestic investment. This can lead to increased economic activity, job creation, and improvements in living standards. Furthermore, repatriated gold can serve as a valuable asset for securing loans and attracting foreign investment. A strong gold reserve can enhance a country's creditworthiness, making it more attractive to lenders and investors seeking stable and secure investment opportunities. This can provide a much-needed boost to infrastructure development, industrial growth, and the expansion of key economic sectors. The repatriation of gold can also foster greater economic integration within Africa. As more countries bring their gold back to the continent, it can facilitate the development of regional financial institutions and trading mechanisms. This can promote intra-African trade, reduce reliance on external partners, and strengthen the collective economic power of the African continent. The repatriation of gold by African nations has implications that extend far beyond the continent itself, particularly for the US dollar and the global financial system. For decades, the US dollar has enjoyed its status as the world's reserve currency, a position bolstered by the vast gold reserves held in the United States. However, the increasing trend of gold repatriation challenges this dominance. As more countries diversify their reserves and reduce their reliance on the US dollar, it could potentially weaken the dollar's global standing. This could lead to increased volatility in currency markets, potentially impacting trade and investment flows. It also raises questions about the long-term stability of the US-led global financial system and the potential emergence of alternative reserve currencies or a multipolar system. The repatriation of gold is a symptom of a broader shift in global power dynamics. As emerging economies gain economic strength and assert their financial independence, the traditional dominance of Western institutions is being challenged. This is a trend that is likely to continue, with profound implications for the future of the global financial system and the distribution of economic power. The repatriation of gold represents a potential turning point for Africa, a sign of its growing economic and political assertiveness. By taking control of their resources, African nations are signaling their determination to shape their own destinies and build a future free from the shackles of colonialism and economic dependence. This movement is not just about gold, it's about self-determination, economic empowerment, and a new era of African leadership on the world stage. However, the road to true financial independence is long and challenging. Repatriating gold is just one step in a complex process that requires sound economic policies, transparent governance, and a commitment to sustainable development. African nations must also work together to build strong regional institutions, promote intra-African trade, and create a more integrated and resilient African economy. The repatriation of gold is a powerful symbol of Africa's aspirations for a brighter future. It's a declaration that the continent is no longer content to be on the sidelines of the global economy, but is ready to take its rightful place as a major player, driving its own development and contributing to a more equitable and prosperous world order. Ghana, a nation with a rich history of gold mining, has emerged as a leader in the movement to repatriate gold reserves. In 2019, Ghana's central bank announced plans to repatriate a significant portion of its gold holdings from foreign banks back to Ghana. This move was widely hailed as a bold assertion of Ghana's sovereignty and a strategic step towards greater economic independence. Ghana's decision to repatriate its gold was driven by a desire to strengthen its financial position, reduce its reliance on foreign institutions, and leverage its resources for national development. By holding its gold domestically, Ghana aims to bolster its creditworthiness, attract foreign investment, and promote economic growth. The move also sends a strong signal to the international community that Ghana is committed to charting its own course and securing its own economic future. Ghana's repatriation of gold has inspired other African nations to consider similar moves, sparking a continent-wide conversation about the importance of financial sovereignty and the need for greater control over national resources. Ghana's bold action serves as a powerful example of how African countries can leverage their assets to achieve their development goals and secure their economic independence. South Africa, home to the world's deepest gold mines, has a long and complex relationship with the precious metal. Gold played a pivotal role in South Africa's history, from the gold rush of the late 19th century to the development of its powerful mining industry. However, the legacy of gold in South Africa is also intertwined with colonialism, apartheid, and economic exploitation. In recent years, South Africa has faced calls to repatriate its vast gold reserves, held primarily in foreign banks. Proponents of repatriation argue that bringing the gold back to South Africa would not only assert the country's sovereignty, but also provide a valuable resource for economic development and social upliftment. They believe that gold can play a key role in addressing South Africa's persistent challenges of poverty, inequality, and unemployment. The debate over gold repatriation in South Africa reflects the ongoing struggle to reconcile the country's past with its aspirations for a more equitable and prosperous future. The decision of whether or not to repatriate its gold will have profound implications for South Africa's economy, its social fabric, and its place in the global order. Tanzania, a nation striving for economic transformation, has also joined the ranks of African countries seeking to repatriate their gold reserves. In 2017, Tanzania amended its mining laws, giving the government greater control over the country's mineral resources, including gold. This move was part of a broader effort to maximize the benefits of Tanzania's natural resources for its own people. Tanzania's decision to assert greater control over its gold was driven by a desire to break free from dependence on foreign companies and institutions. By managing its gold resources more effectively, Tanzania aims to increase revenue, create jobs, and fund essential public services. The government also seeks to promote transparency and accountability in the mining sector, ensuring that the benefits of gold mining are shared more equitably. Tanzania's pursuit of economic freedom through the control of its gold resources is a testament to the growing determination of African nations to chart their own development paths. It's a recognition that true independence requires not only political sovereignty, but also economic self-reliance, and that the wealth generated from natural resources must benefit the people who own them. The trend of gold repatriation in Africa is not just a regional phenomenon. It's a symptom of a broader shift in global power dynamics. As emerging economies gain economic strength and assert their financial independence, the traditional dominance of Western institutions is being challenged. This is leading to a more multipolar world order, where power is more diffuse and no single nation or bloc holds absolute sway. The repatriation of gold represents a rejection of the old rules of the global financial system, where developing countries were often relegated to the periphery, their resources extracted for the benefit of others. By taking control of their assets, African nations are demanding a greater say in how the global economy is run and insisting on a more equitable distribution of power and resources. The growing assertiveness of African nations is a sign of the times, a reflection of the changing realities of the 21st century. As the world becomes increasingly interconnected and interdependent, the voices and interests of all nations must be heard and respected. The repatriation of gold is a powerful symbol of this shift towards a more inclusive and equitable global order. While the repatriation of gold presents significant opportunities for African countries, it also comes with challenges. Building the capacity to manage gold reserves effectively requires expertise, infrastructure, and robust regulatory frameworks. African nations need to invest in developing their financial institutions, strengthening their central banks, and ensuring transparency and accountability in the management of their gold holdings. Furthermore, the repatriation of gold must be part of a broader strategy for economic diversification and sustainable development. Relying too heavily on a single commodity can be risky, as fluctuations in global gold prices can impact national revenues. African countries need to invest in other sectors, promote industrialization, and create a more balanced and resilient economy. Despite the challenges, the repatriation of gold presents a historic opportunity for African nations to take control of their economic destinies and build a more prosperous future for their people. By leveraging their resources wisely, fostering innovation, and working together, African countries can harness the power of gold to drive their development and secure their rightful place in the global economy. The repatriation of gold is more than just a financial transaction. It's a declaration of independence, a symbol of Africa's determination to break free from the legacy of colonialism and chart its own course. By bringing their gold back to their own shores, African nations are asserting their sovereignty, strengthening their financial positions and taking control of their economic destinies. This movement represents a potential turning point for the continent, a step towards a new era of African prosperity and global influence. The quest for financial independence is a journey, not a destination. It requires visionary leadership, sound economic policies, and a commitment to sustainable development. African nations must work together to build strong regional institutions, promote intra-African trade, and create a more integrated and resilient African economy. The repatriation of gold is a powerful catalyst for this transformation, a symbol of Africa's rising economic power and its determination to shape its own future. The world is watching as Africa embarks on this journey of self-determination and economic empowerment. The repatriation of gold is a sign of the times, a testament to the changing dynamics of global power and the growing assertiveness of emerging economies. As Africa reclaims its treasure, it is also reclaiming its narrative, writing a new chapter in its history. A chapter defined by hope, progress, and a vision of a brighter future for all its people. As African nations continue their journey towards financial independence, the road ahead is filled with both challenges and opportunities. The successful repatriation of gold is just one step in a long and complex process of economic transformation. To truly harness the potential of their natural resources, African countries must foster unity and embrace innovation. Pause 2S. Collaboration among African nations is crucial. By working together, they can build stronger economies, promote regional stability, and create a more prosperous future for all. Initiatives like the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA, are paving the way for increased intra-African trade and investment, reducing reliance on external markets and enhancing economic resilience. Pause 2S. Innovation is another key driver of progress. African entrepreneurs and businesses must leverage technology and new business models to unlock value from their resources, create jobs, and drive sustainable development. From fintech solutions that increase financial inclusion to renewable energy projects that power communities, the possibilities are endless. Pause 2S. The journey towards financial independence is not without its hurdles. Corruption, political instability, and inadequate infrastructure are persistent challenges that require unwavering commitment and strategic action. However, the spirit of resilience and determination that characterizes the African continent is a powerful force for change. Pause 2S. As the world watches Africa's rise, it is clear that the continent's future is bright. The repatriation of gold is more than a financial strategy. It is a beacon of hope, a symbol of a continent on the rise, ready to take its rightful place on the global stage. Together, African nations can build a future defined by innovation, unity, and shared prosperity. Pause 2S. This video is prepared by the Nigeria Digital Chamber of Commerce, 2nd floor, Silverbird Mall, Central Business District, Abuja, Nigeria. Telephone +23 480 Website www.ndcc.ng. Email adoki@adoki.ng.